Hello beautiful people, I'm Yvette and this is Mind Your Mental Matters. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about psychopathy. Yep, I'm a psycho guys, and no, this is not about your ex-girlfriend or your ex-boyfriend doing a little stalking here and there or whatever you might be thinking about at this point. There is a lot of confusion when it comes to this word, and even though the term psychopath is usually used to describe someone who is crazy or has a mental illness, psychopath is not an official diagnosis. Like, no one has ever been diagnosed with a mental illness called psychopath. That's very interesting, right? So stay with me as we unpack what is a psychopath, who is a psychopath, and what are the characteristics of a psycho. And if you have been suspecting that your boss or your husband or your friend is a psycho, we will go through the checklist to know what exactly qualifies somebody to be called a psychopath. Do subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thanks to all of you who have been showing me love this far. And if you like this video, please show me a sign and engage with me in the comment section down below. Okay, now here's some interesting facts. 1 in 5 CEOs is a psychopath, and this is roughly the same rate amongst prisoners. I read this in an article by Sunday Times, and it said that certain psychopathic traits are also evident in small doses in high achieving individuals such as Olympic athletes, politicians, surgeons, and CEOs. Another interesting thing is that not all killers are psychopaths, and not all psychopaths are killers. In fact, a very small fraction of them are violent criminals. The rest of them, they just walk amongst us guys, and these are our brothers, our husbands, or our mothers. In fact, have you ever read a book called Snakes in Suits? Comment down below if you have. Let me know what you thought about it. Now, Dr. Robert Hare, the author of the book Snakes in Suits, once said, a high-scoring psychopath views the world in a very different way. It's like colorblind people trying to understand the color red. But in this case, red is other people's emotions. Some people who have been labeled psychopaths are the likes of former President Jacob Zuma and Donald Trump. And I mean, people like to give psychiatric labels to people they don't like or they don't agree with, you know. In the very same way, that's how you find people saying that someone is depressed when that person is just sad, right? But now let's see who really passes the test of being a psychopath. By definition, psychopathy, sometimes considered synonymous with sociopathy, is traditionally a personality disorder characterized by persistent antisocial behavior, impaired empathy and remorse, as well as bold, disinhibited, egotistical traits. Yabona nje, like umuntu ongakwazi ukukhombisa uzwelo or ukuyisola, like umuntu one-ego nje, you know. Yes. Now, the term psychopath is not an official diagnosis, like I've already said. If you search for types of personality disorders, for example, you're gonna get results like obsessive compulsive personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, and. But psychopath doesn't come up. So instead, a doctor might diagnose somebody with specific traits that are associated with antisocial personality disorder. Okay, stay with me guys. Antisocial personality disorder is a mental disorder in which a person consistently shows no regard for right and wrong and ignores the rights and feelings of others. People with antisocial personality disorder tend to be manipulative, antagonized, and are just heartless towards others, really, you know. So having heard the definition of psychopathy and that of antisocial personality disorder, or let's call it ASPD for short, it sounds like yafana most. This is one and the same thing. which is why some research defines psychopathy as a synonym for antisocial personality disorder, while all the research is like, nope, azifani lezinto. Psychopathy is a separate condition from ASPD. And this is simply because it is believed that while most people who meet the criteria for psychopathy also meet the criteria for ASPD, not all people with antisocial personality disorder will reach the threshold for psychopathy. Like abafiki lapho. So I will go with the latter. Just because no one has ever been diagnosed with a mental disorder called psychopath, and also because I'm a psychopath, guys. Like, they honestly don't think there's anything wrong with them, so they will never go and seek help. Whereas some people with ASPD may feel the same, that there's nothing wrong with them. Mara, here and there, they might actually go and look for help for other symptoms, for other things like depression, anxiety, or like always getting angry outbursts, right? Now, what are the common signs of a psychopath? Well, an assessment should first be conducted by a mental health professional, and they would do so using the checklist that was developed by Robert Hare, which is the Psychopathy Checklist Revised, PCL-R. And it will include these characteristics: superficial charm or charisma and persuasiveness, a grandeur sense of, self-worth or overconfidence, proneness to boredom or need for stimulation, pathological lying, being manipulative, a lack of guilt or remorse, selfishness. They have a shallow effect, like a reduced emotional response, lack of empathy, a big one, parasitic lifestyle, poor behavior controls, promiscuous sexual behavior, early behavioral problems, lack of realistic long-term goals, impulsivity, irresponsibility, failure to accept responsibility for their own actions, many short-term marital relationships, juvenile criminality, revocation of conditional release from prison, or criminal versatility, like they just commit diverse types of crimes. Now, it's been estimated that around approximately 1% of males and between 0.3 to 0.7% of females are psychopaths. It's also been said that psychopathy can start from as early as childhood, before the age of 10. And the initial formal diagnosis to the child may be something like conduct disorder, but also showing psychopathic features in childhood doesn't necessarily mean that the child will grow up to be an adult psychopath. Okay, I think they have to be 18 and above to be considered a psychopath. Now, I'm sure by now you're already asking what causes a person to become a psychopath. And like many personality traits, the exact cause is not known, but research suggests that it may be genetic. Genes may make you vulnerable to developing psychopathy, and also life situations or environmental factors, they trigger its development. So things like growing up in an abusive or in an unstable home, or a chaotic family, things like this. Also, variations in brain chemistry and structure may also cause psychopathy, although there's still lots of research that's being done in order to prove this. Okubuhlungu kezihlobo ukuthi psychopathy is a life sentence that cannot be cured. Remember, psychopathy is a personality disorder and not a mental illness. Therefore, no pill can instill empathy. No vaccine can prevent a psychopath from committing murder or any other crime. And just no amount of talk therapy can change an uncaring mind. Doctors say because of their devious, cunning, scheming, and narcissism traits, if you could get a psychopath to go and see a therapist, they would be able to manipulate and trick their therapist because they are just so good at pretending to be what they are not. Also, for those who have been convicted of crimes, jail doesn't seem to impact them much, because psychopaths have no fear for punishment or social stigmas. Like, they don't care to fit in jail. You know, in fact, when they have been incarcerated, giving them their favorite food or video games, if they behave, may actually be the best way to manage them. Just imagine. And when it comes to antisocial personality disorder, which at this point I'm sure we can at least say is the cousin of psychopathy, again, there's no cure, but people with this disorder can be treated in some way in order to help control the illness. It's not a cure, but it helps to control the illness. The person may not think that anything is wrong with them, but they can still get treatment, you know, or they can get treated through various types of therapies and medications. Now, the medication will not give this person empathy, but it can help them to control symptoms like aggression and impulsive behavior. So, the next time you are tempted to call somebody a psycho, think about what it really means to be a psychopath. And that is it from me. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this video. Are you a psycho? Do you know of a psycho? Do you think anyone you know is a psycho? Comment down below, and remember to share this video with every person that you care about, because it is going to be that helpful. And yeah, until the next one, thank you so much for watching. Lots of love, lots of light, and perfect mental health to you and your people.